Dean Smith, thank you so much for speaking to us here at Stadium Astro all the way from Malaysia. Going into the final match day, fighting for survival, I'm pretty sure it's not easy. I mean, it's not an ideal situation. But first and foremost, how are you feeling?
I'm okay, actually. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. I mean, you know, you come into football to manage in big games, you know, and coach with the big games. You know, I've done it before at the other end of the table, and I've done it at the bottom end of the table. It's certainly a lot nicer at the top end of the table, but we're ready for it. We see it as an opportunity, you know, and hopefully it's quite simple. We need to win, and you know, if we do, hopefully other results can go for us.
Like you mentioned, this is familiar territory for you with Walsall in the past as well as Villa. What do you think differentiates a team that survives versus a team that goes down, like the mentality? What's the difference there?
I think the biggest thing is that you're instilling the belief in the players that they can go out, they can do it, they can change it around. You know, we haven't probably got the points I probably expected us to get in the 7 games so far that I've had. You know, but if we get that win on Sunday, it could change everything around. It could put scoreboard pressure on the opposition, you know, and what they have to do. But we have to concentrate solely on ourselves.
Now, you came in very much later in the season, of course. That, of course, is a challenge in itself. But was there any particular aspect of whatever was going on at that point that you wanted to work on and pretty much, like you said, you know, lift the spirits, or what was it specifically?
I think the biggest thing was the 9 games previous. I think they'd lost 8 out of 9. So the belief and the confidence, what I saw in the game against Bournemouth, was really at a low point. So our job was to come in with different voices, different eyes, you know, and try and make it a bit of a new feel for the players, lighten the mood a little bit, but also, you know, give them some confidence. It doesn't help when your first game is Manchester City away, but I thought we did enough in that second half to, you know, to show that we were moving in the right direction, and you know, that belief was coming back, and we followed that up then with our first victory at home against Wolves. So I think our home performances in general have been good. You know, the Everton game, you know, we had a big penalty at 2-1, where if we score that, I think we go and win the game. You know, Liverpool game, Liverpool, the form that they were on, you know, they hadn't had a shot until the 33rd minute, and then unfortunately scored 2 quick goals. But you know, it's now in a situation where it's not in our hands, and all we can do now is go out and play with some pride, which I believe the players will do. But with the support that we have at home, we can go and get that win, and hopefully things go our way.
You mentioned there lifting the spirits of the players, right, when you came through. Was there anything unconventional that you did? Because I'm not sure if you know, but like Mikel Arteta, for example, right, he brought in a dog in the training session, I think, and he called it Win, just so that the players, especially after defeat, they said he believes that a cute, cuddly animal like would lift anyone's spirit, like at any point, like no matter how down you are. So was there anything unconventional, like non-football related, that you
not massively unconventional? I mean, you know, there was I think it might have been after the Fulham game, a couple of days after, we'd done the debrief on the game, and I could see how low the players were, and you can't change the result. What you have to do is move on very quickly to the next game. So we just went for a walk around the whole of the training ground, put a little bit of a food stall on at one stage, and I had a putting competition, and where myself and Kuhn Top, you know, put some prize money towards whoever. So it just changed the atmosphere a little bit moving into the next week.
Okay, I have a quote for you. We're going to get a bit philosophical here. It says, "Your strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times." So in these so-called challenging times for the club, do you believe that it has in fact built character amongst the players? Like, do you see that in them?
I do, because you know, they've been under a lot of adversity, you know, from before I came here to since I've been here as well, and they've become hardened to that, and they've learned from it, and I think they're in a better place now than they were 7 games ago. Mentally, I don't think we are as fragile. You know, I think that was proven on Monday night at St James's Park, which is a tough place to go. So, you know, there's been some character building, and you know, an awful lot of resilience grown.
You mentioned that game at St. James's Park. Do you believe then that this puts you in a slightly, or that the team mood in a slightly feel-good factor going into the final game?
Yeah, I do. The Liverpool game was always going to be tough at home, and I think there was a lot of people who felt very low after that, knowing we're going to Newcastle, which was another tough game. So, you know, we showed an awful lot of defiance in that game to come through it with a clean sheet, and I think that lifted everybody. Although it's taken, you know, this weekend's game out of our hands, it still lifted the place, knowing that we could go and get a clean sheet and hopefully get the result this weekend.
In your PC you mentioned, I think it was pretty clear that you need a win regardless, right? You're not going to bother about what happens at Goodison or Ellen Road, and you're just going to focus on a win. How do you impart that to your players without applying the pressure that they're already on?
Well, I don't need to add any more pressure. They know it. They all look at the league tables. They know what's required. My job is to give them, you know, plans on and clarity on, you know, our tactical game and what we do with the ball and without the ball. And if we give them enough of the right messages, then they go and execute it. They're very good footballers. That's one thing we've come to notice. Our fragility has been defending, but hopefully, you know, the confidence we take from the Newcastle game will help that side of it.
Which players have impressed you in the dressing room or that really shown leadership throughout this time?
I think there's quite a few players that have all impressed me. I don't think there's really been a standout where I go, yeah, I think as a group they've grown. I mean, a big plus point for us is Johnny Evans coming back to fitness, because you can see he spent his whole career at the Premier League level, you know, playing for one of the biggest clubs in Manchester United, and you know, there's a calmness about him that I think feeds into the other players as well. So it's been really good to get him back with the leadership that he has.
On that note though, what sort of player or what sort of characteristics do you look for when building a Dean Smith team?
I think you have to have a mixture of all characteristics. You have to have the organisational leaders, the ones who, you know, will demand certain standards. You have to have the ones who will go out and lead by example, and you have to have the quiet leaders as well, who, you know, just take things in but will add little certain things, and when they speak you listen. You know, so I always think it's pulling together like a special group together where you can add different parts of their characters to others to help each other.
And you signed a deal with the club until the end of the season, and we don't know what's going to happen next, but what are your personal goals?
At the moment, personal goal is just to win the game on the weekend, and you know, see where that takes us. I've really enjoyed, you know, my short time here so far, and it's been a real good football club with good people, and you know, that's why it all means so much to not just myself, but you know, Craig Shakespeare and John Terry if we manage it on Sunday.
Well, Dean, all the best this weekend, and we do hope for a very favourable result to go in your favour.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you.